Okay, so you want to own a laundromat. You buy a few dozen washing machines, put them in a building, and then charge people to do their own laundry. Sounds like one of the dumbest businesses you could possibly buy. Except it isn't. A good laundromat can generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in annual revenue from something most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid: washing clothes. And here's the part nobody tells you. The washing machines aren't actually the business. The real business is the thousands of people living around you who have no convenient way to wash their clothes. Because every week, they come back, they bring the same dirty clothes, they use the same machines, and they pay you again. But there's a catch. A laundromat making $500,000 a year can still be a terrible investment. So where does all that money actually go? How much does one $5 wash really cost the owner? Why can dryers be some of the most important machines in the building? How much do rent, water, electricity, repairs, and replacement equipment eat into the margins? And most importantly, what separates a laundromat that quietly prints cash from one that slowly drains its owner's bank account? Let's follow the money. The first thing you need to understand about laundromats is that you're not really selling laundry. You're selling access to machines. And that distinction is incredibly important. Imagine you live in an apartment. You have 3 bags of dirty clothes sitting in the corner. You could buy a washing machine, but that might cost hundreds or even more than $1,000. You'd need space for it. You'd need the right plumbing. You'd need somewhere to vent a dryer if you wanted one. And if you're renting, you might not even be allowed to install your own equipment. So instead, you walk into a laundromat. You bring the clothes, you pay a few dollars, and someone else has already invested thousands of dollars into the machines you're about to use. That's the basic economic exchange. You don't want to own the machine. You just want to use it for an hour. And the laundromat owner is perfectly happy to rent you that machine time over and over again. This is why the business can be so interesting. A washing machine isn't inventory. You don't sell it once. You sell its capacity repeatedly. Think about a hotel room. A hotel can't sell Tuesday night's empty room after Tuesday has passed. That opportunity is gone. A laundromat works the same way. If a washing machine sits empty for 3 hours, those 3 hours of potential revenue disappear forever. Which means one of the most important numbers in the entire business isn't the price of the machine, it's utilization. How often is that machine actually being used? Let's build a simple example. Imagine a laundromat with 30 washing machines. Suppose the average customer pays $5 for a wash. If each machine completes 5 paid cycles per day, that's $25 of revenue per machine. 30 machines would generate $750 per day. Over 30 days, that's about $22,500 in washing revenue. And we haven't even turned on the dryers yet. Now, imagine the average customer spends another $3 drying their clothes. If enough customers generate that level of dryer revenue, the laundromat could add another meaningful chunk of monthly sales. Suddenly, a room full of machines can generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in annual revenue. But stop right there, because this is where people make one of the biggest mistakes when looking at businesses. They see revenue and mentally convert it into profit. A laundromat can collect $400,000 a year and still have a surprisingly ordinary amount of money left over, because every dollar has somewhere to go. Start with the building. Maybe you rent it. Maybe you own it. If you rent, occupancy costs can become one of your biggest expenses. And location is absolutely critical. You don't necessarily want the most expensive commercial property. You want a location surrounded by the right customers. Apartment buildings, renters, dense residential neighborhoods, people without convenient access to private laundry, good parking, easy visibility, and ideally, limited competition. Because nobody wants to drive 30 minutes just to wash their socks. The laundromat is fundamentally a hyperlocal business, and that creates something very powerful. If you control a convenient location in a neighborhood with strong demand, your physical location becomes part of your competitive advantage. A competitor can buy the same washing machines. They can copy your prices They can offer the same payment technology, but they can't simply move their building next to yours overnight. Now, let's follow a single customer. They walk in with 3 bags of laundry. They choose a large washer. Maybe they pay $6. Then they transfer the clothes to a dryer. Maybe they spend another $3. They might buy detergent because they forgot to bring it. Maybe they grab a drink while they wait. One customer could generate around $10 or more in revenue. But the laundromat doesn't keep that entire $10. The first cost is utilities. Washers consume water. They also use electricity. Dryers use energy too. And depending on the equipment, that could mean electricity or natural gas. And this is one reason you can't honestly say that every laundromat has the same profit margin. Utility rates vary by location. Machine efficiency varies. Customer behavior varies. Cycle settings vary. The age of the equipment matters. So instead of pretending there is one magic cost per wash, think about the economics as a range. The more cycles you run, the more water and energy you consume. But ideally, the revenue generated by each cycle rises much faster than the incremental utility cost. That's where the operating leverage starts to appear. The machine is already sitting there. The building is already there. The customer is already there. You're essentially trying to squeeze more productive cycles out of an asset you've already paid for. And then there's maintenance. This is where the beautiful spreadsheet can start falling apart. Commercial machines are built for heavy use, but heavy use also creates wear. Pumps fail, belts break, door seals wear out, heating systems need repairs, payment systems stop working, drainage problems appear. And when a machine breaks, the cost isn't only the repair bill. It's the revenue you aren't collecting while the machine is sitting there. Imagine a washer normally generates $25 a day. If it stays broken for 10 days, that's potentially $250 of lost revenue from that machine. Now imagine several machines are down at the same time. Suddenly, maintenance isn't just an expense. It's a revenue protection strategy. And that's why experienced operators care about uptime. A machine that works 99% of the time can be more valuable than a cheaper machine that constantly needs attention. Then there's another expense people underestimate: cleaning. A laundromat isn't a business where customers are impressed by luxury, but they absolutely notice when the place is dirty. They're putting their clothes inside your machines. If the floors are filthy, the machines smell bad, the bathrooms are disgusting, or the facility feels unsafe, customers have a reason to leave. And because laundry is recurring, losing a customer isn't just losing today's transaction. You could be losing next week's transaction, and the week after that. This is where customer experience quietly affects the economics. A cleaner laundromat can potentially create higher customer retention. Better retention means more recurring cycles. More recurring cycles mean better machine utilization. And better utilization means the fixed costs of the building and equipment are spread across more revenue. That's a very important concept. The business gets more efficient when the same infrastructure generates more sales. Now, let's talk about something even more interesting. The laundromat doesn't have to make all of its money from self-service washing. Once the customer is already inside, you have an opportunity. Detergent, fabric softener, vending machines, laundry bags, ATMs, and then there's wash and fold. This changes the business completely. Instead of saying, "Here's a machine, do it yourself," you say, "Leave your clothes here, we'll do it." Now, you're no longer just selling machine time. You're selling convenience. And convenience can command a premium. Think about it. Someone might be willing to spend 2 hours sitting in a laundromat because they want to save money. But another customer might value those 2 hours more than the money. They don't want to sit there. They want someone else to handle the laundry, so they pay more. But here's the catch. Now, the business needs labor. Someone has to sort the clothes. Someone has to wash them. Someone has to dry them. Someone has to fold them. Someone has to label the bags. And someone has to deal with mistakes. So wash and fold can increase revenue per customer, but it also introduces a completely different cost structure. And if you add pickup and delivery, the complexity increases again. Now you need drivers, vehicles, fuel, scheduling, route optimization, customer service. What started as a room full of machines has slowly turned into a logistics company. This is why more revenue doesn't always mean more profit. Sometimes the simplest version of the business has the cleanest economics. Now imagine someone offers to sell you an existing laundromat. They tell you, this place makes $500,000 a year. Sounds incredible, but don't get excited yet. Ask what it costs to make that $500,000. You want to see the lease. You want to see utility bills. You want to see maintenance records. You want to understand machine ages. You want to see payment reports and bank deposits. You want to know how much the owner actually spends on cleaning, insurance, repairs, supplies, and labor. Because revenue is easy to advertise. Profit is much harder to fake when you have to document every expense. And there's another question that matters enormously. Why is the owner selling? Maybe they're retiring. That's fine. Maybe they want to move on to another business. Also fine. But maybe the machines are approaching the end of their useful life. Maybe rent is about to increase. Maybe a competitor is opening nearby. Maybe the neighborhood is changing. Maybe the store requires a huge renovation. A laundromat can look extremely profitable right before it needs a massive capital investment. And this is where capital expenditure becomes important. Eventually, machines have to be replaced. A commercial washer or dryer isn't a lifetime asset. At some point, you're going to spend serious money replacing equipment. And if you ignore that future expense, you can fool yourself into thinking your cash flow is much better than it really is. It's like driving a car and saying, look, I'm making money because I haven't paid for repairs this year. That might be true, until the transmission fails. And that brings us back to the central question. How do you make this business work? You find demand. You control the location. You buy equipment that can survive heavy use. You keep the machines running. You manage water and energy costs. You price the machines intelligently. And most importantly, you keep them busy. Because an empty machine is a wasted asset. Let's say you have 60 machines. You don't want to ask, how much did these machines cost? You want to ask, how much revenue can these machines produce every month? And how much of that revenue survives after all operating costs? That's the real question. And this is why two laundromats with the exact same number of machines can have completely different economics. One could sit in a dense neighborhood filled with renters. The other could sit in a beautiful building where almost everyone owns a washer and dryer. Same machines, same business model, completely different results. The machines aren't the moat. Demand is. It looks like a simple machine business, but underneath, it's a real estate business. It's a utility business. It's a maintenance business. It's a customer retention business. And most of all, it's a utilization business. You're buying expensive equipment and trying to turn every available hour of that equipment into paid activity. The customer walks in. The customer pays. The machine works. The customer leaves. And then you do it again. And again. And again. That's the beauty of recurring demand. You don't have to convince someone that laundry exists every week. Laundry is already waiting for them. So the next time you walk past a laundromat and see those machines spinning behind the glass, don't just see people washing clothes. See dozens of little revenue-generating assets. Every washer has a price. Every dryer has a price. Every cycle creates revenue. Every empty machine represents lost capacity. Every broken machine represents lost income. Every utility bill takes a bite out of the margin. And every customer who comes back next week is something an investor would love to own. Recurring demand. Because a laundromat doesn't really sell washing machines. It sells machine time, convenience, and access. And if you can put those machines in the right neighborhood, keep them working, keep customers coming back, and control the costs, A room full of washing machines can become something surprisingly powerful, not because laundry is exciting, but because sometimes the most interesting businesses are hiding inside the most boring things people do every single week.